We are now going to take questions. What I'd ask is that anyone who has a question, please state your name, and if you have multiple questions, maybe we'd ask you to just ask 2 of them at a time, and we can respond to those questions, give us a chance.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Michael Henry. What I'm concerned about is your net profit. It decreased tremendously, and I haven't seen your, what's it? What I really want to know is your first quarter result, if it is good.
Okay. I thought we did present those a while ago. We did present them. The first quarter's results actually were better. Chris, can you, or Hortense, can you put the slide back up? Well, use Chris's own. Yeah, well, this one actually shows it. It actually shows that for 2018, revenues increased to 69.8 million from 56.5, and our net profits moved from 4.4 to 6.7 million for the first quarter, 2018.
So you don't have any, for 2017, your trade receivable, I don't saw where you indicate that you have any trade receivable outstanding.
I'm not sure I quite understand the question. Can you rephrase
what I'm saying,
maybe?
For your net profit for last year, 2017, it did not indicate that any trade receivable was outstanding. You never have any money supposed to come in.
Yes, we did have accounts receivable. I think Hortense spoke to it. Hortense, use a microphone.
Our accounts receivables as recorded in 2017 was actually $29.8 million. So could you rephrase the question? What was it that you wanted?
Your net profit. What I'm saying, your net went down significantly, right?
Yes, it did.
But at the same time, you did not indicate that you have any trade receivable supposed to come in to...
It is there. Okay.
Okay. Sorry.
All right, sorry. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon. I'm Carrie Tape. I just showed me page 58, which says accounts receivables, that you reduced the accounts receivable, from 47 million to 29 million, so it went down, so that's a good thing. But I think what you're looking for is on page, where is it? On page 62, note 14, it says here, foreign exchange loss or gain. In 2016, you made other income gains and losses. You made a profit or income, I shouldn't say profit. Other income was up, and it was significantly down. I think that's the line item that severely impacts the net profit. I think that's what you're looking for. It's on page 62. Page 62, number 14. Oh, okay, so I was just, sorry about that. Okay, so now me know. Okay, so you understand now? Okay, so I am not a techie at all, but I listen to all of what you're saying, and in the Jamaican context, well, I work at a company where you have come and made a significant impact in our lives in terms of IT delivery service to the company. So I noticed that's animated, and I noticed that's nice. It will speak to the millennials, but millennials don't run and own the companies. We old people run and own the companies, know what we do. So perhaps all the persons who you have provided these service deliveries to, perhaps you could do something as testimonials or something like that to show, because one person said it to me a long time ago, IT people do not speak the same language as us. So when you're talking, we kind of don't understand it. Even though you break it down, we're kind of like IT doofuses. Or I shouldn't make a general statement. I am an IT doofus. So, but here's the thing that I'm totally impressed by. I like the fact that you are... I like the fact of your service delivery. I like the fact that you were recognized in 2 international things. And one of them was, let me see if I can remember, the bottom was mentoring and the top one was document management. Now, what you did for the company where I work was a really, really significant, it was a significant impact. I don't know how you would bridge the gap in terms of, I'm not saying that your marketing is flawed in any way, but bridge the gap so that people would understand exactly what it is you did. You know what I mean? Because when you're talking IT tech to us, we don't really get it. But when a layman says, oh, I can do this and I can do that now and I don't have to wait 3 days, it makes a significant difference. So I don't know how you would bridge that gap in marketing. So that's my first comment. And to commend you on both the international recognition on both things. And the other thing is, most managers, as I said, and owners, they don't speak tech. They really don't. And when you go and try to sell to them, I mean, I'm not saying that you have this issue, but if they knew what you did for us, you would have so many customers, you wouldn't be able to handle it.
One of you guys as testimony.
That's really my comment. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Kerry. I'm going to ask Chris to answer the second question, which is about how we address the, call it the gap in terms of how we explain our services from tech to, call it, business benefits. But just like to bring the meeting's attention, if you look on pages 18 and 19 of the annual report, you actually have some testimonials from customers there.
Too dead.
Sorry?
Too dead. It want picture and everything.
Well, I mean, we actually do have them captured in video, but for the purposes of the annual report, we have 3, and on the back page we actually have been going around and getting testimonials from customers which were captured in video, Chris and Julian. But so those are available. Anybody who wants to see them, we'd be able to show you if you so desire. Chris, you want to address Kerry's other question in relation to how we translate tech to business?
Thank you, Teddy. Well, let me just follow up on the first question. For anyone who wants to see, so Teddy pointed out some testimonials that were in the annual report. So the back of the annual report has one there, and there are several inside. The videos are actually on our website, www.tTech.com.jm. Just scroll on the first page and you see the actual video of these testimonials. Thanks to the feedback, we will add some of them to next year's AGM presentation, and we will use it to liven it up, right? So your chairman has actually given me, Kerry, your executive chairman has actually given me another testimonial very similar to what you said a while ago. So I'll try to capture it properly. I will try to force him to speak into a camera. It's going to be a tall task, but he has in fact said to me that you guys have made a significant dent in our organization, and they're able to focus on the value-added stuff while we took care of the boring details and the mundane stuff and the foundation stuff that must work in order for the rest of the things to work. So yes, we just said that to me, so I need to just capture it properly. I will. You can start nudging, and I will follow up. So to answer the other question, trying to simplify what we do whilst hitting all the main points is a delicate balance, because it's a technology business, and we find that we have tried using things like that video. And to a fair amount of people, they actually appreciate and understand it. We have been in meetings one meeting recently in front of a number of lawyers, not to take anything from lawyers, my wonderful wife is a lawyer, but these are the least technical people, and by their admission, right? By their admission, I know she's there. She will admit, the least technical people. And when Norman and I and Sonica visited this law firm and we did our pitch, at the end of it, we pressed play, we did the thing, and everybody was like, why didn't you just play that from the beginning? I could have saved the whole 1 hour of talk. So I think it captures what we're trying to explain without dumbing it down way too much. But it is a technical topic, and we continue to try to find the right language and the right balance of technical and just general business to explain what we do. Right? Which is what to explain. We do have a lot of those forums, and those forums, whilst we're talking about, whether it's document management, disaster recovery, cyber security, whereas we talk about the big topics, we always interject all the various things that we do. So those guys get it, and we have had a number of forums at the Jamaica Stock Exchange or the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce, PSOJ, who have done presentations to all of those audiences. So we continue to tweak it. All right, another question. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I have just one comment about your IP and your copyright. I know a company who did borrow something from somebody else on verbal and gentleman's agreement and all that, and it came back and bite them. So since you guys are now swimming in big waters, when you borrow anything from anybody, beg you sign it on paper, say that yes, you can borrow this and use that and transplant the other. The other thing is, I don't think you realize the impact your little meetings are having on the rest of the investment people, because some of us are doofuses in tech, some of us are doofuses in investment, but we've made some investment friends among each other. I mean, I'll call up somebody I never met before and talk about investment and think, no. So that kind of thing augurs well for what you are doing. So I'd like to know, since you're mentors now, do you have a formal summer work program for youth, or do you still, is it just a call up and say who can apply? That's one. The other thing is, as a junior stock exchange people, a set of a company rather, are you allowed to be in managed equity pools now that other people can buy into rather than a single buy-in? And finally, since your petal is missing out of here now, did I hear you say you're going into outsourcing? I didn't quite get that.
All right. By the way, that was Dr. Susan Lowe. Thank you. And thank you for the comments and the advice about the intellectual property. I'm not going to ask Chris to address the last question. Sorry, you want to just repeat the 3 questions, because
I know, I went over the 2. Sorry. If you have the ability as a junior stock exchange to be in managed equity group funds now, people can buy, like you're mixed up with maybe Google and Apple and JN and NCB and all that, and you get into that, or you still have to buy you or only approach you singly as a company to buy the stock. And then the other one was, are you handling actual outsourcing services now? And I mean, like, do you have your own? Because boy, some of them out there are very bad. And are you having a formal summer work approach, or is it still a matter of you just phone up the company and say, do you have space for summer workers?
Yeah. Okay, I think I can address, Chrissy can address the outsourcing services for me. But with respect to can you buy tTech stocks through a fund? A fund like that, such as a mutual fund, we don't create that. It would be entities like a financial institution, say for instance a Mayberry or so on, who would actually create a fund that's composed of, call it, different equities and or other instruments. They then market the fund. We would have nothing to do with it at all. So
I'm asking if you're allowed as a junior.
You want to use a mic for me?
I'm asking if you're allowed as a junior stock company to be in those pools.
I'm going to defer Richard,
Yes?
our board.
Okay.
Yeah, our equities could be included in such a fund, okay? Summer work programs, we do take on selectively one or two summer workers. Quite frankly, to be able to take on a lot of summer workers creates work. Somebody has to administer the program. Summer workers come in, somebody has to show them what to do and so on. And you know, we quite frankly don't have a lot of fat in our system. We're pretty lean and mean. And as a result, we have to, you know, manage that very carefully. But we do take on workers, but primarily we will take on university students. Although we have taken on students who are just graduated from high school, have an interest and some talent in IT, and come in, and we can put them directly, you know, in. So basically, what we have to do for summer work is we have to take on people who really require a minimum of supervision, because supervision takes away time from us actually providing services to our customers. All right, Chris, you want to answer the question on the outsourcing services?
Okay, so if you turn to page 22, where the MD&A starts the management discussion and analysis, it explains a little more detail with what this slide on the screen is. So the short answer is yes, we are in fact an IT outsourcing company. But this is a breakdown of the components in which we outsource. We don't outsource everything. So we're not gonna do like what IBM used to do back in the day and just come and buy the entire organization and do every single solitary thing. We outsource certain specific areas in that which we are expertise in, which are the areas that are listed on page 22 right here. It explains them, and also just kind of at a highlight on the slide. So our poster speaks to infrastructure monitoring and management. So we are doing it. People in the company used to do it, but sometimes, not sometimes. What happens is that depending on the company's size, the IT persons or person that they have usually don't have all the skills to do all of these areas. One of the challenges with information technology and IT in general and just all things computer is that you have a lot of, let's call it with the word we use, one-eyed man in the land of the blind. Just because this person knows about computers, you think they can do everything. But the skills required to do cybersecurity, penetration testing and assessments is way different from server management and a little different from router configuration. And the language will get very technical now. So the end of the day is that we take over a fair amount of these services and we handle them. So technically it is IT outsourcing, that's what we do. So I mentioned earlier, as part of the business process outsourcing world, IT outsourcing is a sub-component of it, and we do some parts of it.
Okay, well, that really wasn't what I was asking though. What I was trying to get at was, included in all of your outsourcing, you have call center service now set up?
No.
Oh.
No. Our call center is what we call service desk. So we have a little area, if you walk into the office and just look without anybody saying anything, it looks like a tiny 15-seat call center, but is a service desk.
No, that's not what I'm asking again. I'm asking you if you are about to go into offering call center.
No.
Afternoon, Teddy. David Rose.
Hi, David.
Short comments first before ask their questions. Short comments, I should say praise. I was going to say, when mistake was mentioned, it was empty, but today is kind of a hectic season considering that Kingston Wharves, Jamaica Stock Exchange, tTech, another company actually all of AGMs within this time span right now, so one can actually understand why the room is so empty right now. Because nobody sees Mr. Staple, nobody sees, you see, even he's laughing, because you know it's the truth. You see? Or he's probably by Argentina just lose and people kind of crying right now. Well, Brazil will lose tomorrow, so one misery. Well, I'm going to comment that I like the idea that, and actually find it unique that tTech has been is one of the only junior companies that can actually identify that actually has an online investor forum where you have a live stream. You can send questions in that are moderated in essence by the company secretary. I'm not sure you're the secretary. Thanks. And that we'll be able to get engagement, discuss about the company. I like that idea, but I want to say that I actually had to look at the page to realize that there was an investor forum because I didn't immediately recognize it was going on. In the shareholder, I never recognized immediately what was going on. So, correspondence with private shareholders is through some medium would be a good way to keep them up to the loop as to when that's going to happen. As we see corporate social responsibilities, it's good to see that the tTech firm is still supporting strongly the Jamaica College Robotics team, which is the only Jamaican and potentially one of the few European Caribbean teams to be actually participating in the first tech robotic challenge in the US, and JC has had to do a national team which is managed by, actually coached by Gavin Samuels, which is good. And I liked how you were saying how you guys have set up homework centers to try and bridge that gap between those who don't have access to IT and those who do, because that's in the way the world is going towards right now in terms of IT, science, STEM, science, technology, engineering, medicine. It's good to see that tTech is trying to push that technological front towards, and just the youth, those who want to advance themselves. I was also going to, I was also to ask that next AGM, if you can just ask a resolution, if you can just take the auditor's report as read, so we don't have to go to sleep. I could have walked in Pegasus and come back and still go to the bathroom before they're done. And I walked to Pegasus a while ago and I came back and I probably timed myself and I still reached back in time before they were finished. Well, here are the direct questions. This one relates to what I've been seeing a lot of companies have been doing in terms of corporate governance, and that is a whistleblower policy. Has tTech considered incorporation policies like whistleblower policies and steering committees or other things to do in terms of corporate governance?
Do you have other question?
No, it was a question.
Oh, that was a question. Okay.
The whistleblower policy, just like how Jamaica producers just published their whistleblower policy, and further companies have been gotten and streaming towards whistleblower policies.
Yeah. tTech actually, the board actually approved a whistleblower policy. Philip, when did we approve it? Was it this year? Yeah, we approved a whistleblower policy. So the company actually has one in place. Implementing it is another thing. So what we're doing is we're also working through the details, the process of what it will take to actually allow someone to be able to blow the whistle anonymously and have it reported. The Corporate Governance Committee, chaired by Philip Alexander, will be the entity that would take the initial reports of from any whistleblowers and determine how to follow up on it.
Thank you. It's good to see that tTech is doing something before people have to ask. Next question, as it relates to your prospects. I remember, I believe it was either when watching the investor forum, or was it last year's AGM, where tTech said that they would invite more than they could chew, because I remember that tTech said that you have services within the Eastern Caribbean, other Caribbean islands, and considering that tTech is still young, it's what? You guys started in 2006 or 2008? Oh, so 12 years. So still a sort of a medium from growing. So as it relates to growth prospects, I realized that tTech said that they're trying to get more sustainable recurring streams of income instead of just the one big projects which just have generated a one-time income, which is pretty on paper, but in the long run isn't fully sustainable. So I know that you said that you addressed in terms of growth prospects and what you're trying to do, but I'm going to ask, in terms of similar to expansion along with growth, does tTech see themselves setting up offices in other Caribbean islands or even expanding to accommodate larger clients in the future?
We definitely are looking at larger clients. We're also beginning to explore opportunities outside of Jamaica. But I'll ask Chris to address that. The Eastern Caribbean isn't something that we are actively pursuing. If opportunities do come up as that one did, then we would take it. But Chris, you want to speak about what we're looking at in terms of expansion, particularly outside of Jamaica?
Thanks for the question. So specifically and actively, we have been courting potential partners in North America. We have had a number of meetings with small SMEs, small medium-sized enterprises that are doing similar to what we're doing, but again, so even though it's a service provider organization similar to us, they don't have the breadth of services and the depth of the team that we have. So some of these guys are, anywhere between 3 to 5, maybe 10 people, 10 engineers.
They're just juniors.
But we have a structure and we have access to educational facilities here that we can ramp up relatively quickly. Although it takes some time to onboard someone and have them become, deliver the type of value that we want to deliver. So that is happening actively. It's taking time because you sign agreements with folks, you have to meetings, and you're doing that while you're still delivering the day-to-day services. As a matter of fact, tomorrow morning I'm attending AmCham, American Chamber of Commerce, having this event where they're bringing on the U.S. Chamber of Commerce here. So tomorrow morning, sit down with those folks and figure out how can you help us to get a proper foothold
in other areas
in North America. There are Caribbean opportunities that have started to kind of knock on the door. So just last week we were at the Jamaica Investment Forum in Montego Bay with Jampro, and there are Jamaican organizations that have footprint throughout the Caribbean, and they're kind of saying, well, do you guys provide support for people in other Caribbean countries? And technically we do, because some of our customers have locations in those areas and we're providing support for them. So of course they're saying, come and have a meeting and talk to us. So those meetings are this week, next week, week after next. We're talking to some of, again, Jamaican companies that have branches. So one of the things that when Teddy started the company, one of the things that was the underpinning is in terms of following our customer where the customer went. So we do have plans to keep doing that. So I hope I answered the question.
Yes, you understood it correctly.
Good. Thank you. A pass.
Don't move. You see a question here?
Yes, sir. Go ahead. Ask the question.
Turn to page 60. I read that tTech, like any other of the responsible firms who don't just have a large cash balance but that utilize some of it to grow further interest. I realize that tTech has some certificates of deposits in both US and Jamaican instruments and some quoted equity securities. Has tTech thought about doing other forms of investment in terms of, I shouldn't say other forms of investments, but like how some companies in the stock market or bonds in terms of investment versus the CODs and quoted equities?
Hortense, you want to address that?
Thank you for your question. In regard to note 10 on page 60, the reference made with the US instrument and also the Jamaican dollar instruments are actually bond investments. So we actually look at what makes sense for us on the market, and as always we monitor and manage our risk.
Proper prudent procedures, yes.
Yes.
Don't was it. It's another question for you, because you're the financial controller.
Go ahead.
Just like how Mr. Alexander was saying, how, they are trying to build a footprint in other areas. What does tTech see as a benefit right now, or should I say a downside, because I couldn't properly identify through the financials as an advantage for them in terms of the US dollar sliding to Jamaica? No, the Jamaican dollar sliding towards US dollar, meaning that the Jamaican dollar losing its strength relative to the US dollar.
Okay, one of the things that we do is our billing in most cases is pegged to the US dollar. So in that regard, we maintain our value, but you must also remember that when the dollar is revalued and the value improves, that we will also have some downsides to that also. So we benefit on both counts, that we maintain some of our currency in US dollar to combat that process.
Thank you. I do a small comment for Mr. Alexander.
Go ahead.
It's a comment, that's all.
Sorry?
It's a comment.
Okay.
I will say that I respect how tTech has implemented procedures to coordinate with workers in terms of, see how they're satisfied and the issues they have, and how you're saying, if it's their birthday, give them the day off. You're the only company I've actually heard said, if it's a birthday, we'll give you like half a day or some company give half a day or somebody say take the entire day off. And I respect that because some people really and truly enjoy their birthday, and giving them also encourages team motivation to work hard and greater productivity. So, I like how you're working with the team to build a team mentality towards better service to treating the employees properly. Because only a company I know international wide that actually treats the employees so well that they will never want to leave is Google. No, it's the truth. No, I can't imagine a company that actually, says, take your birthday off, you have any issues, talk to us, direct talk.
Alright, yeah, thanks for that comment on that, David. We do pay a lot of attention. I think from day one of the things that we have done as tTech is try to ensure that team members really feel good about working for the company. It is a constant struggle because the truth is that the work we do is quite stressful. So we do have to find ways to, allow team members to be able to be relieved of some of that stress. So there are things that we have done that I think most that people would regard as very innovative. The other things that we do, we give paternity leave. Fathers actually are entitled to 2 weeks paid paternity leave. Birthday days off is just one of 5 personal days that are allowed during a calendar year. One of those days would be a birthday. A second one would be if you're supporting a cause and you want a day off for that. And the other 3 days are available to people to take, just, that. We actually allow team members to work remotely from home, just so everybody has a laptop. We actually pay them or reimburse them $3,000 a month for broadband access. So that gives them the ability to work from home. There are team members, and I know John, definitely one of them, Jillian is another one, parents. And children are sick. They have a choice. Do I take a day off or do I take the children, stay home with the children? What we do is we allow you to stay home with the children and you work as best you can remotely. So and one of the things is a very interesting conversation I had recently with some people who are actually looking at corporate social responsibility. Most people think of corporate social responsibility as giving charity, but what was pointed out to me is that CSR is really not just about what you do with your profits, but it's how you make your profits and how you engage with your stakeholders during the process of conducting your business. So these things that we're doing are actually very much a part of CSR as well. So thank you for those comments, David. Thank you. Kerry?
If I may just ask 2 quick things. When I went to Neighbor Investments Limited, what they did was have investor forums to expand investor knowledge. I think that in our age of technology, have you ever thought of having IT forums where you actually charge people,
Sure.
You charge them money and have IT forums so that managers can better or owners can better understand what's happening in their institution and the new modern things that are happening. That's 1. And 2, the final thing is, do you see any other companies to strategically ally with or merge with or purchase or offer shares in lieu of so as to strengthen the company, expand the company, as companies like NCB does and Maybury does and that kind of thing, strategic alliances. And the other thing that I didn't understand was taxes. I see taxes coming out. I just wanted a comment on that. Thanks. Because you're a junior stock market and you're not supposed to be charged, so
Okay.
I was just wondering. Thank you. That's a lot. Sorry about that. Thanks.
Yeah, I'll ask Chris to address the comments I guess, marketing and possible acquisitions and mergers. That's just one thing I will comment on before Chris. Next week I'm actually giving a presentation to a financial services company on really call it IT and the future of IT, where it is today, where it's heading, how it would impact. So, touching on topics like blockchain, cybersecurity, and so on. It's really trying to address the issue of how to make a lot of this stuff more understandable, particularly for executives and directors. Chris has there are some things that we've been looking at in that direction as well.
So Kerry, thanks for the question. So because we're at this AGM reporting on presenting our 2017 report, there's a fair amount of things that we've begun doing in this year that were not written in that document. So we have in fact conducted our first paid event just recently, where we had folks, and that technology I explained at the last part, File Nexus, document management, enterprise content management, workflow archiving solution. That was one of the things that we spoke about there. We also spoke about data privacy and data protection and things like that. So yes, we have started because, as I also explained, some of the customer engagements, we do have these CIO forums, and it's very, very similar on what we do. So yes, we do that. We also have started discussions with folks around acquisitions, around partnerships. We have formally signed NDAs for some of them as we assess the situation. So that's ongoing. So can't speak much about that until it happens. Thank you very much.
I refer to page 60 and note 8 regarding taxation, 59 to 60, sorry. So it's from note 8 and also 59 to 60. In regard to our recognition of the taxation charge, it is actually a computed charge. As a junior stock exchange company, we are liable if we do not continue to meet all the rules. So the computation allows us to recognize what our liability will be if at any point in time we do not adhere to the rules and we have to demit the junior stock exchange market. Okay.
All right, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I think I'll move on. Kerry, just one other thing I think maybe Chris may have forgotten it, is that one of the initiatives that we're trying to launch this year is to put on a course. It would be IT for non-IT managers. One of the things is that we have seen and said is that always see these finance for non-finance managers, and realize that there's this big gap in terms of knowledge of what IT really is, how it works, and how it impacts the business. And the executives and directors really, we think, are in need of that type of explanation, where we try to explain IT in non-technical terms and relate it back to the business. So, thank you.